Hi again, James Bogue here at Casa Cuadrau, and we're going to do a little yogic movement sequence now that makes use of a prop. The best props are the simple ones, the best toys are the simple ones. This is a ball, a basketball, as you can see. I grew up playing a lot of basketball. I would say that basketball was one of my first yoga practices. During my teenage years, my basketball training introduced me to a lot of yogic principles. So I'm particularly happy to share with you a little sequence that basically shows lots of different variations that we can work with to invite and practice unitary movements, the body working as a unit and developing, let's say, more integration through different channels in the body, and at the same time working with the senses in a quite active and dynamic way, which is a really nourishing thing for the whole system. So you can do this with any ball of a similar size. A football would also work. And if you have a basketball or something of similar size, that would be ideal. So the first thing we can do is just start to feel the ball between the hands. So you can pass the ball between the hands, different distances, different speeds. So, as I was mentioning, to begin with, we just start passing the ball from finger to finger, from hand to hand. Another thing that's important is we're in our suspension chain. So I talk about this principle a lot. When we're in the suspension chain, we can bounce. Just like a basketball, if we bounce on the ground, this isn't very inflated, so I can't do it. But we want to make sure we don't get deflated. We want to make sure we've got space in the body, in the suspension chain. We can absorb shocks easily. We can move over uneven terrain, like when we go walking in these beautiful mountains, and we can recycle a lot of energy. So of course, when we run or we're walking through terrain, some energy gets lost. When we walk more and more skillfully, when we integrate the different movement chains or channels in the body, then we can recycle a lot more energy. And this suspension chain principle is really helpful. So I've got a nice spacious stance, and I'm going to start just passing the ball between my hands and my fingers. Different speeds, different distances. I might try not looking at the ball, just see my peripheral vision. I might look at the ball very closely. I might try to read the words that are imprinted on the ball. I might play with the height. So it's coming up and down. Maybe I go to one side, I see the ball in the peripheral vision, and I'm feeling the ball. And then I can also bend down and up. So I'm moving, but I'm staying centered, and the ball is moving. And I'm passing it between different places. And all the while, there's a continuum of movement in my body. Nothing's getting fixed or stuck. And then perhaps I can start to invite the ball to come around the body one way, and then the other, and then it can come around the head perhaps, one way and then the other. And I can move maybe down between the legs. I can go around one leg, one way, and then the other. I might take the feet a little wider, one leg, one way, and the other. Coming into a figure of 8, one direction. Almost lost it. I might go more slowly. I could come up and down a little in the figure of 8. And then I could go the other way, figure of 8. Starting off quite easily. And as I'm moving, I'm paying attention to what's happening in the body. So it's like the whole body is moving as a unit. And again, I can create a bit more up and down. So I've got that kind of infinity movement sign as being inscribed in space with my hips and my pelvis, with the ball. Perhaps I come back up, rotating. And then I can start to pass the ball to myself behind the back. Now I notice as I catch the ball, there's a little bit of sound. Now another nice exercise is to try to catch the ball without letting the ball make any sound. So if I just that the ball hit their hand, it will make a sound. So I want to try to absorb the shock. And as I do this, when I'm in my suspension chain, the whole body, it's like it's absorbing the ball. So the flight of the ball and its descent, when we work with it, can teach us to get into this nice suspension chain. We can also experiment stepping forwards and back, different ways. You can walk around doing this, but I want to make sure that I cannot hear the ball. So you can hear my feet, the floor. It's a hot day, I've got a little bit of sweat on my feet, you can hear the sound of the floor, but hopefully we don't hear the ball so much because I'm absorbing it, whether I'm moving or I'm staying still. And then another nice exercise with the basketball is to come into the horse stance. So in the horse stance as well, I want to make sure that we're in our suspension chain. Spine is long and spacious, and I've got room for maneuver. So you have to get onto the appropriate sized steed for you, the appropriate sized horse. So some people might be comfortable on a big horse, a big Shire horse perhaps, for example. And other people might be on a little pony. Whichever position it is, we want to make sure it's comfortable for us and reasonably sustainable for us. We can move side to side. So if I go really wide but I don't have room for maneuver, maybe not so appropriate. I want to be somewhere I've got room for maneuver. I can move in different ways. So we're going to do this exercise of holding the cups, moving the arms in different ways with the basketball. So I'm just going to quickly show the arm patterns. So the first one, we can take our hands to the belly, bring the right hand on top, it comes across the body. I see the hand, comes around, and I keep the palm facing up. Comes through, and I see the palm. And then I'll do the other side, so right hand to belly, left hand comes across. I'm looking at the hand to make sure that the palm stays facing upwards. So if I'm holding an object, that object is not going to fall to the ground. And in a moment, the basketball is going to keep me honest in this practice. And then the other possibility, or one of many other possibilities, is to do a slightly different variation. This time the hands are facing up, then they come in, they turn out, and they come back up to the center, but as far as possible, I keep the palms facing upwards. So it's like position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we move between these positions. And we can do it one hand at a time, both hands together. We can also do asymmetric, so I get one hand going and then the other hand comes. And then we can add the challenge of something to hold. So as I'm working with my beloved basketball today, basketballs are quite a good object to try with because it's heavy enough to not fall so easily. So don't try with champagne flutes before you've practiced with less fragile items. People traditionally build up to practicing with candles or tea lights. So as I turn around, I have to pay great attention to keep the ball. So I might find I don't move quite as fluidly as when I don't have the item, but that's okay, I'm learning. As I do this with the ball, my body, my brain, which reaches not just through the central chain of my spine from my head, but into every part of me through my nervous system, my brain is making new synaptic connections as I steadily, with a sense of alertness, find my way through new movement configurations. So I've managed 3 times around that, so I'll try the other way now. With the left hand, and I'm looking at the ball, and I'm taking care to not let it drop. But if it drops, no problem. If it becomes very easy, then I can work on making the movement slightly more seamless. But one thing I want to make sure as well is that I'm not gripping the ball. I'm just gently cupping it. And so I'm really working using the whole of my body to keep the ball from falling. So you can notice I'm not just moving the spine. I'm not just moving the arms. I'm not just moving the legs. I'm learning through play to let the body work as a unit. And these challenges, games with rules if you like, the confines of the rules, like not letting the ball drop, keeping the hand facing upwards in this instance, that will invite creativity, that will invite learning. That will invite the body to learn new ways to work as a whole. And we can also do it the other way. So we've got the hand up, bring it in, and around. So position 1, position 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you know what the next level is? I can't demonstrate it. I don't know if I would have the capacity to demonstrate it, but I only have one basketball here. But if you have two, then obviously you can work on doing two basketballs at the same time, moving the hands in different ways. Now, one more, moving a little bit of quickness at the end. I'm going to bring the hands either side of one leg, ball is between the legs, and I'm in my suspension chain. So I'm in a position that I've got that room for maneuver. So my spine is still nice and spacious. My lumbar spine is I can show you here, so you can see that my lumbar spine is zipped. My bones are not sticking out. It's like I'm in my suspension chain, I can bounce, I've got the same alignment. So a nice long spine. And I bend down, but I'm not bending my lumbar. I'm bending my legs and perhaps a little bit in the thoracic spine. My lumbar is long. So you can see, for example, here, the muscles of the erector spinae, the lumbar spine is zipped in between them. So in this position, I'm going to work to not let the ball hit the ground. Try to be as quick and as quiet as I can, and so on. So, hopefully this was useful to give ideas of our simple prop, moving with it in different ways, working with it in different ways, can help us to create this connectivity through the body and reaffirm healthy neuromuscular pathways and this integrated unitary movement in the body. Thank you.